Charles, we've done a lot of Mission Impossible send-ups, but this one, we're going to be discussing disinformation is possible. And we've got a very special guest joining us. Viewers will recall Bob Bishop, accountant extraordinaire. Bob is a brilliant contributor to the show who's helped us for so many years and a wonderful guy. Welcome back, Bob. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Charles and Jason. And I want to congratulate Charles on his Substack launch. It's very successful.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And our show today will cover a transatlantic nefarious nonprofits.
Perfect. And that's exactly why we've asked Bob to join us today. He's talking about false philanthropy. People can see that by going to charlesortel.substack.com. And of course, you can become a free subscriber to look at what Charles is posting there, or you can become a paid subscriber. And Charles is going to be putting a lot of in-depth information on there, type of stuff that Bob really likes, digging into some of these details. What do you want to say about false philanthropy, Charles?
Well, I just couldn't speak highly enough about Substack and Stripe, which are the two services that make the false philanthropy blog run. So it's, for me, I freely admit I'm a technological idiot, and maybe an idiot on other fronts as well. I am. And all you need to do is write whatever you're writing, make sure it's accurate and spelled properly, the grammar works, the punctuation.
You actually don't even have to do that.
You should do that. And then you just post it up there, and Substack takes care of interacting with your subscribers. Stripe takes care of collecting payments and sending you the money. And so far, I couldn't speak highly enough about it. I'll strongly recommend it.
Absolutely. And of course, people can also support Crowdsource the Truth on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, and of course, Subscribestar and Patreon. You know, the other thing is I want to make sure people know how they can reach Bob on Twitter, because I think people are going to have a lot of questions for Bob, people who like details, and other accountants and serious investigators, numbers nerds are going to love speaking with Bob and perusing his Twitter. People will also recall that I joined Bob and his friend George, his associate, and he who were investigating the migrant centers down there in San Antonio, Texas on the last road trip. How is it? You're looking really well, Bob. That Texas weather is treating you well.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty good. We've been in the 50s at night and 70s during the day. It's idyllic.
Well, isn't it your plant-based diet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So with that, Bob, why don't we get started? One of the first things we want to take a look at is this article that you had published on April 7th, just about 2 weeks ago, in the Gateway Pundit, with bombshell revelations. The State Department's Global Engagement Center, Soros's Open Society, the EU and UK are funding the Disinformation Index, a pseudo-nonprofit that blacklists conservative news from online advertisers.
Well, you know, as we jump into this topic, I think first of all, we need to put a little context into it. And if you look at the First Amendment gives you rights, not only as an individual, but as the news media. And the news media is referred to as the fourth estate, which keeps the government in check for the three different branches of the government. And what we're having right now is we've had different ways that they try to stymie the truth and transparency, where they go in and they cancel people, they close Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, and then you've got the regular news media, which just carries the propaganda of the state. Well, there's a new emerging issue that just came up in the last couple of months, which is the Disinformation Index, which the Washington Examiner did a good expose, but what I wanted to do is go much deeper than they did, and I wanted to look at the organizations and the individuals and the funding that went into it. And so what they're trying to do is they make an index and they share that with various advertising exchanges like Google and Microsoft. And what they do is they label these conservative outlets like Breitbart or American Thinker or others as being basically disinformation, and then they try to get to the point where they don't get any advertising to starve them to put them out of business. So, if we go and look at like Gateway Pundit or American Thinker, and you look at the ads, the ads are really ridiculous, like toenail fungus treatments, pet food, things like that really don't pay. You don't get like cars or Adidas or other types of ads. And basically, they're trying to starve the independent conservative media.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite clear. And I've seen this on Fox News as well. They seem to be advertising like fruit pills and pillows. But as you said, we're not seeing major car brands. We're not seeing necessarily the type of national advertising that you would think these things need. So when you say that it's a pseudo-nonprofit, Bob, how could that be? What is that?
Well, what happens is it starts, and Charles has always been real good about this, about organization and structure. And when you dive into the entities, there's 3 entities. There's one in UK, and it was structured as a nonprofit. But when you go to the charity index in UK, it's not registered.
Can we look at that for a show?
Yeah, sure. There's a link in the document.
Okay.
Charities index.
It's in the Gateway article.
Got to go back to Gateway. Just scroll down the page, probably.
Evading charity laws. So if you look there,
Jason, you're down here. Is not registered.
There we go.
So if you click on that, you won't find any evidence that the Disinformation Index LTD is even registered and operating in the UK.
How come it starts on F here? Well, why don't you put it in quotes, Jason? Disinformation Index, please.
Yeah.
I'm not bossing you around.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Oh. Yeah. No results were found.
Yeah.
Was it organized anywhere under that name? Did you check Open Corporates?
Yeah, I checked Open Corporates. If we go to the registration of the entity, which there's another link in the article, we can open that up and look at the players that are involved with it.
You got to go back to the article. There you go.
Okay, so if you look where it says private limited corporation, click on private.
Oh, okay. So it's classic trick. It's registered as a company, but they never filed to be a charity.
Exactly.
This is really dishonest. I mean,
and you know what is frustrating is, and we'll get into a little bit later into the funding that went through this. So there's no accountability.
Let's hit filing history. Let's just see what we see. The longest filing, if you go down the page, it should be the first one. I guess the next page you need to go. And it's going to show you incorporation. Okay, 32 pages.
I'm surprised it's not 33.
Okay, it's incorporated 7th of April, 2018. So that is...
Wonderful day.
Yes, it is. It is. Because it's what? National Apricot Day?
My enemies already know. It's my birthday.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Disinformation Index Limited. Okay. There should be an actual, as we go down, we should look at the articles, and that'll give us the names of the people who are involved. Maybe.
Is it different because this is British?
Does.
It should. It should have the actual articles.
I don't think it does in this case.
Really?
Keep going. If you're at the bottom, you're...
Just give me the high sign if you see anything you like.
I don't see. Well, so the point here is that, there you go. Oh, subscribers, 2 people sign up for this.
But what does that mean, subscribers?
Well, I'll keep going down. All right, let's see. Here they are. Claire Melford and Alexandra Musavizadeh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, Claire Melford is from the UK and Alexandra is from Belgium.
Okay. Well, the thing of this is that if this is this the parent company for the U.S. entities?
Yes, because there's an interconnection between disinformation here in the United States, and Claire Melford serves on the board here in the U.S.
Okay. Because under U.S. law, and I don't know UK law, but under U.S. law, you can't form a company, a charity, with 2 people.
Exactly.
You need 3. So this is, if you're trying to go and establish guilty knowledge and whatever, I mean, this is a clusterfuck from the get-go. On April 7th, 2018, which, when the entire world is not celebrating Jason's birthday, also happened to be back when Mueller was still in business.
Ah.
Right?
Well, so what's the significance of that?
Well, Mueller, they were trying to go after...
Oh, shut down anybody who would be reporting against him.
Right.
Right. What do you think of that, Bob?
It sounds correct to me. I think as we go into this deeper, we'll see some connections here of the individuals.
Good.
So back to your article in Gateway, the Gateway Pundit, people can go check that out. It was published this was maybe a week or 2 ago. When did this article come out, Bob?
It came out on your birthday.
Oh, right.
It's your birthday present.
That's why I was thinking, why does my birthday keep coming up? So you, basically 5-year anniversary of this thing being created, are memorializing its allegedly criminal activity in this wonderful article that people should read. So what else have you found about this thing?
Well, let's go to the Danny Rogers where it's highlighted. Let's go into his LinkedIn. We need to do a deep dive into this guy's background here in the U.S., who is also part of the UK organization. This guy sold one of his companies to the deep state. As we delve into this and look at his background, we'll see that he has a connection to the deep state.
Not surprising. Where would you like to look? He's got kind of a lot of stuff going on there.
Well, we need to go look at his career background, his
Here
experience.
We go. Human rights first.
Oh, he was an adjunct assistant professor at NYU Center for Global Affairs.
And look, he was a technical advisor to the UN Dumb Persons Organization, UNDP.
Well, look at this. He's a security fellow at the Truman National Security Project. That's not good.
And then you can hit
which we'll get into here in a minute. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll see that he sold his business.
Sonify.
And Terbium Labs.
Yeah.
Look at this. Right here. The premier dark web data intelligence company.
Oh, boy. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Johns Hopkins University. NIST. That's terrible. They're the ones that put together that fictional animation about how Building 7 collapsed on 9/11.
Huh. Where did this guy go to college?
Look at this. College Park, Maryland. That's where the National Archives are.
Yeah.
Right.
Los Alamos National Laboratory. This guy gets around.
Yeah, he's got a PhD.
But where? Let's look at his educational background. There we go. University of Maryland.
Georgetown.
Chemical physics.
Interesting.
What is that?
I don't know. Let's see all 7 volunteer experiences. Referee. Oh, okay.
Did this guy volunteer to test out crack with Hunter Biden?
I don't know. Disc jockey?
Why would you put that on?
Now, wait a minute. Is that how you spell disc?
Nope. Oh,
Let's
he
see.
must be saying, he's probably joking. Oh, no. Yeah, radio. No, it should be DISC.
Do you know many physicists who can't spell? I'm the son of one, and I can tell you they're pretty careful.
I don't know. I would think that, I don't know.
And he beats his own drum.
Yeah.
Is that a timpanist?
What do you say? Yeah, percussionist.
Well,
I don't
you know
know.
what we need to do next, Jason, is there's a link back to the Wayback Machine for the Truman Foundation that he was part of as a fellow.
Right here.
Right.
And as you scroll down, if you look at the top row, who do we see there that is on the board of the Truman Security Project?
Pierre Chow.
I'm thinking
Hunter Biden.
Okay.
Look at these new teeth.
Let's look at the description in here
Which one?
of Hunter Biden. If you hit his picture, typically the bio will come up. Yeah.
Here it is.
Chairman of the board of CNP. What is that?
Crack. I don't know. Oh, CNP, isn't it a train thing?
Vice chairman of the board of CNP? I don't know. Chairman of the board of the World Food Program, USA? I mean, that is one of the biggest cons on the planet, the World Food Program.
Isn't that how Saddam Hussein did his food for oil deal? Chinese company board, CNP. No, I don't know. I can't find what CNP is.
It used to be called FOS.
Chinese National Payout? What is that?
Full of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a non-resume.
Yeah, stop right there where it says Biden is a member of the CSIS.
Right.
That is the second largest think tank in the world. It's based around the military.
Uh-huh.
CSIS Executive Council.
Yeah.
He was honorary co-chair of the 2009 Presidential Inaugural Committee.
So that's the Center for Strategic and International Studies, but it also has the same name as the Canadian Secret Intelligence Service, which causes me to wonder if it's not deliberately trying to distract people away from any research related to that. Tom Daschle, holy cow, that's the guy who got sent anthrax after 9/11. And Carly Fiorino was a former CEO of Hewlett-Packard who basically gave away tons of computers to the NSA, according to Bill Binney, Thomas Pritzker. Right, Hyatt Hotels, that was a big problem. Who's Vin Weber?
He's a Republican. Look at this guy.
Wow.
Rosemont. This doesn't say CNP. And Senior Vice President, MBNA America Bank. I mean, this is the kind of resume that if it came across my desk when I was hiring people, I'd just say, burn this.
Edward Breslin.
With coal. You know, burn it. Don't use the clean food. Use coal and burn this thing.
Benjamin. And we got all these different people. So what is this thing doing, Bob? What have you been able to determine?
Oh, wait a
about
minute. I met this guy, Farouk Kathwari. I can't believe he's still at Ethan Allen. I met him in
He's no longer at Ethan Allen.
It's furniture, isn't it?
Yeah, we were given the opportunity
He's
to buy this
also on
business.
the CSIS advisory, but they're going to have a nice couch in CSIS.
Mosbacher.
Can we get Pottery Barn on this board?
Oh, God. A USAID.
Yeah, I mean, this is a terrible thing. So what have you determined this thing is doing, Bob?
Well, it's basically a typical network that you'd see in the elites. They're all interconnected. That's what I determined out of it.
Yeah.
Let's go back to his LinkedIn. I want to show the audience something that you and I have talked about, Jason, about his software.
Yeah.
That you and I've talked about. Let's go back up to the top.
Yep.
And see where, scroll down a little bit.
Physicist, technologist,
Well,
co-founder.
scroll back up. You know, he did have a link that you and I looked at. Go to contact information. Try there, Jason. Now click on
DannyRogers.net.
Danny Rogers.
Right.
And then we're going to go find the software they use to grab all this data. Yeah.
Right. GitHub. Right.
Yeah. And then he has different types of programs where they scrape things out of the internet to do their research.
Yeah, GitHub is sort of a community for open source developers. I find hackers and nefarious people seem to like it.
Yeah, he had one that was called the Red, which deals with Republicans or conservatives in his programming logic programs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's got the flying toaster there. I wonder, did he have anything to do? That was a company, like the company that made the first screensaver, I think. The flying toasters were a big deal in the early 90s. That's the first time I've seen one in a long time. I wonder why he's putting that there.
So maybe if you go to projects, you find what Bob's looking for.
Well, packages is where you would download it. So this is, I think, is different. This is going to be pretty difficult, I think, for us to make heads or tails out of a GitHub
but
page.
it just gives you an idea that, they're pretty deep into the technology of scraping data.
So Docker is a software platform used for building applications based on containers, Ruby gems. I think this is just, not his stuff. So overview, repositories, projects are probably going to be, aren't any projects
repositories, yet. And if you scroll through there. See,
this is a difficult thing for us to investigate because, he's got it, that's for sure.
Let's go back to his page. And what about, does it say, what does this blog say? Look at me, I'm Danny. Jesus.
This is your kind of guy, Charles.
This is the kind of thing I'd expect from like a 13-year-old.
Right.
What's this say? Look at this.
Steve Bannon?
Yeah.
Open.
So this is a bullshit operation.
Why do you say that?
To just, to rally people to interfere in somebody else's events because you don't like it. I mean, doesn't this guy have something positive to do?
Well, this is what we see all of these disinformation people doing. How is this any different than stupid Mario World?
He's not saying anything specific about why it's disinformation.
They don't ever bother to do. See, that's the magic trick, is that they've got everybody arguing about what should be done about disinformation, that we never actually get around to the part where they explain how they determine what is disinformation. They just decide.
Yeah, but we're gonna get into that here in a minute.
Okay.
How they do it.
What would you like to
know, when you
next?
think about it, this is almost like the legal term of tortious interference. You're interfering between liability between two individuals. I'd even go so far to say is extortion.
Right.
You don't publish the news the way we want, we're going to cut you off from advertising.
Right.
You might have a better angle on extortion because I've got some experience with this type of agitation as tortious interference, and I can tell you that they're at least attempting to calculate it in such a way that although it seems like tortious interference, it avoids meeting all of the elements so that they can do it, and you're just annoyed by it, and the court says, well, technically they're right, you didn't have a contract with this person, they're just, like they're trying to do this with Patreon, with me. And there's something about the month-to-month nature of dealing with Patreon that makes it not quite work for tortious interference. But this is what all of these programs do. They're developed by people who have financial expertise so that they know how to create a company but not register it properly as a charity. And then they have lawyers who are involved so they can do things like that and have a legal basis upon which to argue their thing.
Except that if you're doing this in the guise of charity, a charity cannot engage in illegal activity.
Well, this is all the stuff that they would argue about in court if and when they get brought there. I'm just stating my opinion of how I think they've set these things up and how they avoid getting snagged on things like tortious interference claims.
Can we just go to the very beginning of this thing? I want to see how he constructs his, quote, argument.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we read it?
No.
Oh, it's a little bit boring for people to hear the silence, though.
We extensively study...
disinformation and hate speech
Okay,
online.
but, this sentence is a lie. there is no global disinformation index project, right? There's no such entity
No.
as a charity, right?
Mm-hmm. Look at this.
This guy's
NYU
teaching
is
a
teaching
class on lying.
Disinformation and narrative warfare. What? Narrative warfare. That's where they create a narrative, and if you attempt to challenge it, they destroy your company like this.
Right. It's ridiculous.
This is not news. This is not truth. This is the mechanism by which they stipulate reality. This is what I'm talking about.
Right. This is a dangerous piece of shit, this guy.
Right. That's an official determination, by the way.
Yeah. Let's go back to the article. We're going to do a deep dive now into the U.S. entities.
Okay.
Sure.
Down the page, I think.
Where would you like to go in here?
It was where charities was the subheading.
Censorship think tank, evading charity laws, gateway pundit targeted.
Well, let's go back.
I think you slid over it. You're going very quickly. And so right here. Right? DI and AN Foundation are headquartered in San Antonio. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if we go on the paragraph up above where you see Long Island highlighted,
right?
Click on that. That's the determination letter. So they organized the information index in New York.
That's their office?
In a rental?
It's an apartment in Queens.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look very occupied.
Florida
Well,
doesn't look very work.
Well, that's an example of what's available there.
Oh.
But you know, the determination letter gave that as an address operating in New York. But at the end of the day, you won't find anything when you go to the New York Charity Registry and try to look it up.
Really?
Yeah, look, it says registered. Yeah. There's two organizations. Danny has AN Foundation, which he created from some of his money that when he sold his entity, and then you've got the Disinformation Index. But there is the AN Foundation right there.
Well, wait a minute. This is okay. AN. Let's go down. Where's the 1023?
IRS annual return right there.
That's not a 1023.
No, there's no 1023 whatsoever put.
So what does that mean?
Well, you have to operate in New York. You've got to, when you register, you got to give in New York State your application, complete with all correspondence with the IRS. You got to give them a determination letter, and you got to give them the articles, and you got to give them the bylaws. So, and you got to make other.
So every time that you tell us, hey, this is not a real entity, it's because they haven't registered it properly or set it up properly like this. It's just a bunch of sort of not exactly quite set up things.
Well, I mean, the starting place, I think, is let's look at the certificate of incorporation and see in what state was it incorporated.
I'll give you one guess.
Delaware.
Yep.
It's not clicking.
Okay, they have five. State of New York.
Right? That's it.
Okay, keep going down the page.
Hang on just a second. Okay. Here we go.
And of course, Alvin Bragg and Tish James aren't going to do anything about this.
Oh, no, they're all over this. The records are super important.
Of
what?
Wait a minute. All right. Corporation is organized in Delaware on October 16th, 2018, so after the time of the UK, right? Keep going. It's going to be located in Queens. Why? I don't know. Okay, Daniel Rogers. Okay, is there?
He's on.
There's no evidence that three or more people have come together to incorporate here. That I see. Let's look at this. This is the Delaware one. Okay. Okay, they used the law firm.
That's the end of it.
Whoa, what?
Wow.
Let's keep going up.
That's the whole document.
Wait. Where's the So they don't provide the Delaware articles. Can you just click on the Delaware page? Let's just read that a little bit more carefully. All right, this is just saying that it's been incorporated, but this is not compliant with New York law. You've got to provide your actual articles of incorporation, which they have not done. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at the bylaws.
Where's that?
The first
Oh.
one.
It's weird that it won't let you do that. Oh, because it wants to download it, right?
Okay. This is for a different entity.
Whoa, that's cool. How did they get away with that?
They can't.
Huh. Wow. So it doesn't say AN Foundation, it says Disinformation Index Foundation. So that's pretty screwy. Does anybody who's registering this stuff and filing it, do they have any idea what they're doing? Do they look at it at all? Why bother filing this stuff if people aren't checking to make sure that it's properly prepared?
Well, I think there's a department in New York State that says, okay, all of the people who are going to fuck with our enemies, put their stuff in this department, and we won't look at that.
Right.
And all of the people we're going to deem to be enemies, let's screw up their documents, put them in neon lights. Let's see if this is signed by 3 or more people, which I'm going to guess it wasn't. All right.
Signed by nobody.
Pass this. This is bullshit. It's for a thing with a different name, and it's not an executed copy. This is not evidence that 3 or more people came together to adopt governance procedures for an entity. So this is strictly non-compliant. I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, the lawsuit against Donald Trump, what they alleged against the Donald J. Trump Foundation,
Screwy records.
Just this exact stuff. I mean, at least he had something called the Donald J. Trump Foundation. This asswipe has, bylaws for something that, as far as we know, doesn't exist, and articles that are not signed by 3 people. And he hasn't provided his 1023. And this is the guy who's going to go around the world attacking Bannon and attacking people if he doesn't like, what they're doing.
He wants to be your latex salesman.
Exactly.
Vandalay Industries, you're way off. Well, Bob, you found another treasure trove of
let's
stuff
go back
for
to
Charles
the charity
to
register and let's type in Disinformation Index and see what we get.
for New
Yes.
York.
The
Go
other
search the
entity that
registry.
was founded.
Just put in disinformation, and maybe you'll get
Probably
an organization right here.
overwhelmed, no? Oh yeah, this is pretty slow for searching.
So there's
nothing at
nothing.
all with
No.
and
You're
it
not
says
gonna get anything.
contains. So nothing with disinformation.
Try
is
capital D, just in case it's sensitive.
What about? Yeah.
I've got the tax ID if you want to do that.
Yeah, let's put that in.
85,
Sorry, hang on one second.
right
85.
above it, 85 245 0338.
It's super slow.
That's amazing. Are we sure that's right? 245-0338?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting is as we get back to my article, both of these organizations are supposedly domiciled here in San Antonio.
What's the
They are
significance of
not.
that? Oh, they're not.
Yeah, which we're going to go prove here in a minute off that article.
Got it. Okay. So here we go. Back to
So, filing tax returns.
Vic is with us in the comments, says mixed entity name search tricks. It's almost like identity duplexing of a corporation.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd add is they never submitted any audited financials, Charles. Right?
It's ridiculous.
So let's go over to,
Where you say required audited financials?
yeah.
There we
Scroll
go.
down to New York.
Oh, New York is strict. Not only do you have to
Yeah,
produce financials, but unlike Arkansas, in New York, you have to produce financials that are audited in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, not on Mars, not on Venus, not in Uranus, but on Earth and in New York. You know,
Generally accepted accounting policies in Uranus.
So let's go
So this-
back to the article
Yeah.
and see where it says address there, highlighted, linked.
right here.
Yeah.
Open that.
Okay. That looks nice.
Yeah, the attorney that represented him, I put on an online request for the 990 on the Disinformation Index website. And I get an attorney, which we got a copy of the letter in the PDF.
Right.
He wanted me to send $8.50 to get a copy of the PDF, and they would send it to me. And he gave me this address. Well, this address here is only 3 to 4 miles from my house. So I went by and talked to the manager right there. You can see his picture. Right? What is it, Lewis?
Yeah,
Escobar.
Louis Escobar.
Yeah, so I
Related to
talked to him. I
Pepe?
said, well, here's my $8.50. I want the 990 for the Disinformation Index. He goes, well, they don't office here. I go, what do you
Whoa.
mean? Here's the letter, and it says I'm supposed to give this $8.50 here to get the 990. And he says, no, we forward the mail to Oregon.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oregon.
but this is very unusual to have an attorney out of D.C. Scroll down. That's got my email there.
Not necessarily. Marcus Owens is a name I remember as I remember Loeb and Loeb. This
Yep.
guy, we need to look into Marcus Owens.
So it says, Dear Mr. Bishop, I'm responding to your request for a copy of the Form 990 return for the 2021 fiscal year filed by the Disinformation Index, Inc., hereinafter Index. The organization will comply with your request as required by Section 6104 of the Internal Revenue Code and the related Treasury regulations. Pursuant to the rules referenced above, we request that you pay for the cost of copying at the same rate as charged for copies under the Freedom of Information Act, inclusive of the first page of the return plus the cost of mailing. In this case, the per page charge will be 20 cents, and the cost of the mailing will be $1.50 for a total cost of $8.50. This is crazy. It cost $500 to write this $8.50 letter.
We ought to Google Marcus S. Owens and fraud.
Yeah, he used to work for the IRS from 1990 to 2000 during the Clinton years.
Exactly. We contacted him to see if he would go after the Clinton Foundation. Of
Oh,
course
really?
he would.
Wow.
That you've got somehow you've got a different name there. Owens, Owens.
I would also add, I put in a request for the AN Foundation as well as the UK.
Right away, the first thing that came up. Oh, but this is his own 76 fake charities shared a mailbox, but this is their own
This is
article.
him probably claiming
And so
credit.
here he is directing me to send it to a fake mailbox, right?
Yeah.
So he's not following his own advice.
Yeah, this guy is a very bad guy. He's trying to say, we need more oversight of bad charities, but you hire him
To get to the bad charities.
Yeah.
Look,
He spent over a decade leading the IRS division that oversees tax-exempt organizations. When did he do that?
I don't know. Good question.
Tea Party. That's interesting. Learner said at a conference sponsored by the, where's our buddy Marcus here?
It's further down.
Obama, IRS too little too late. That's interesting. Where is he? There he is. Marcus S. Owens, who spent a decade leading the IRS division that oversees tax-exempt organizations, said Friday that it made sense that the problem arose among workers in Cincinnati because the agency really has delegated a lot of authority to local offices to make decisions about handling their workload. What do you think that means?
I don't know. The Tea Party isn't buying it.
Well, see, yeah, what he's trying to do is shift blame away from the actual culprits who were in Cincinnati. This is a bad guy, very bad guy.
He's trying to trick Bob.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've written him twice for the other two organizations and have never gotten any answers from him on the AN Foundation as well as the UK.
But does it make sense that somebody is trying to defraud you of $8, Bob? Isn't that?
No, it's not the $8. It's the he doesn't want Bob to see what Bob is asking for. I think
that makes more sense.
Well, one of the reasons that they're doing it here in Texas is they're evading charity laws in New York. And in the state of Texas, since we don't have a state income tax, all you have to do is register your foreign nonprofit and you're in business, or just open up a nonprofit. There's no reporting requirements.
Ooh, wait a minute. Let's go back to New York, the charity page, and let's look at what they said about where their offices were. Because in New York, you have to disclose your offices everywhere.
So what do we want to look at with this?
Put AN Foundation or whatever Bob got. Was it AN Foundation that got you the?
Yeah, it was AN, but you're going to have to.
Oh boy.
Well, see, that thing's real temperamental. You go
Next
back
page.
to your history and Google and pull it up.
That's going to take a minute.
If you do AN Foundation in quotes, it'll get there. Should get there anyway.
No.
Wow.
How did we get to this originally, Bob?
It was Bob had done it and
you had sent me a link. Yeah, let me go back to that.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. AN Foundation.
Then
Okay.
we go down this page and you'll
Well,
see.
look at the address, San Antonio.
Yeah, right there. Boom.
And
But
look
we
at
wanna
that. It
see-
says disinformationindex.org.
We
Which
did
is a
that.
totally
We did that one.
different name.
Just go down the page, and then you'll see annual filing. Pick the 2019 one first. Let's see what that says. And okay, this gives a different address, right?
Where
3164 21st Street is the address.
Long Island City,
not
so that's Queens.
Texas. It says there's no website.
Huh.
Let's just
Yeah,
see.
there's Danny's telephone number if you want to call him.
Well, we could do that later, maybe. Yeah.
Let's go down the page and see what address. See. Here's their 19 AN Foundation,
It says Long Island.
and it's tiny, 19,000.
What's up with this?
It's a tiny little nothing.
Well, it balloons. If we go to the 2020,
Okay.
I think you'll see some bigger numbers. And then as we get into the other tax return, there's money flowing back between these three entities.
All right, let's look at 20. Okay, and now notice this has disinformationindex.org as a website, so we can look that up and see later. And this says its phone is in England. That's a UK phone number.
Wow.
Yeah, the Global Disinformation Index I've seen before.
Who we are.
Losers.
We specialize in disinformation. Here are their funders.
Yeah. If you go down there and look at the funders, you'll see in that blue box right there, Jason, that is the UK. Or
That's
no,
the EU.
European
EU, yeah.
Union. And then if you go over to the Foreign Commonwealth over there in the upper left, right there, that's UK.
Yeah.
Wait. We can find there's a at least one
National
foundation,
Endowment for Democracy.
right? And the Knight Foundation. We can look in the Knight Foundation.
Open societies.
But we could look at the Knight Foundation 990 grants and see who they said they gave money to. You see?
So where do we do that? ProPublica?
You could try ProPublica, sure. This is such bullshit. And I think Craig Newmark is Craigslist.
Is he?
Absolutely, yeah, he's part of that. He's radical.
You can do.
At the end of the day, I'd say we're building evidence for RICO here.
Yeah. Rico Suave.
Mail, international wires.
Try the fourth page or the third page. Yeah. Was it Knight Foundation? Yeah.
Yep.
Let's look at 2010. So you want to go
There's two of
previous page.
Well,
Wait.
2010.
20 rather. Oh, is it?
Here you go.
Yeah. 2020 you want. There you go.
Yeah, open that one.
Form 990 PF on the right. On the right. Yeah. Okay. Now, you might want to download it.
Yeah, let me do that because these are difficult to handle in this. How do we do that here? Yeah, this is annoying.
All right.
Where's the
Now
way
we
to
just go to
do
the grants page.
All right, we'll just look at it like this.
You're going to go down several pages here. This is the 990. Okay, yeah, here we go. And of course, they're going to do it this way, not in alphabetical order. So you've got to look at every single one.
Well, no, we're looking for AN Foundation or what?
Yeah, just type that in on a search.
Oops.
You can do that as well in the ProPublica, Jason. You can go back to the page that got us Knight.
Right.
And then type in disinformation.
Right, yeah.
Index.
Right, exactly. And find any word or phrase and then put disinformation index in quotes. This is a very powerful tool because this one allows you to find, okay, that's interesting.
It's got right there.
All right, so let's look at the Tides Foundation, which is a left-leaning.
Schwab.
I know.
The Anal Schwab Charitable Foundation.
This is a different Schwab. This is
Tides you want to look at?
Yeah. All right, let's see what they say they gave and where they gave it.
This one looks like it's more in alphabetical order.
Thank goodness, yeah.
There's no AN Foundation.
It's probably going to be under either AN, it might be,
Well, disinformation would be the good
or
one.
disinformation, exactly.
Alaska Alliance American.
Okay, no AN, so I'd go down to D's. C's. D, E. Development and gardening. Give me a break. Disinformation Index Foundation to a post office box.
Whoa.
And this is a different number than you had, Bob. You were 8.5.
Yeah, but you know what this does? It proves they're operating in New York and not in San Antonio, in addition to the other.
Right, but what is this? Let's write that down. 83223.
Well, why don't we just go search it in another window?
Okay. In New York, though.
Okay.
Now, Jason, I did give you the latest that I got from the attorney in a PDF that we could probably go look at instead.
Okay, well, let's just stick with this EIN for the moment, and we'll come back to that.
It's 83 and then the other number.
Pretty tricky.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get anything.
Still thinking. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. So why
No,
did that
but look
not-
at that. It comes up the AN Foundation.
So that thing
It's
said
totally
they were
different.
paying the disinformation index, but it goes to this EIN. So that seems like a problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's see what we have here.
That's what we were just
That's
through.
the same thing.
But you know, the prefix on the other one for the index foundation is 85, not that 83. I mean, this thing is so intertwined, it's ridiculous.
It's outrageous. This is outrageous.
What should we do now?
Let's go open up the tax return that I sent you that I got from Disinformation Index. It's a PDF.
This one?
Nope,
That one?
that's it. Notice
is a
how they
different-
redacted.
Different EIN.
Yep. That's the 85 number that I have here in front of me.
Oh, yeah,
But look
look
how
at
they
that.
redacted names and stuff. Very.
Are you
unusual.
allowed to do that on a 990 and the phone number and stuff?
Well, this is what they sent to me after I paid the $8.50. But if we scroll down, go all the way to the bottom first.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had my envelope showing it came from New York attached to this, but if you're at the very bottom, I guess that's, nope, keep going. Well,
That was the bottom.
okay, well, let's go look at, there's intercompany transactions that they're doing between UK and.
Why are they allowed to redact stuff like this? It's a public document, isn't it?
They don't want me contacting them.
Well, no. We should be able to get this. Let's go slowly down this and see what states. If you keep going down here, it's going to show there's an entry where it lists the states where they have to file the 990. Slowly. Keep going. Yeah. No.
This is like a game show for nonprofits. You do
Yeah.
not want to be selected to
Yeah, you
participate.
don't want to be featured on Fraud of the Week.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. We just look. Governing body. Policies.
I mean, is it? Oh, they've redacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not cool. It's a public document. That's not a disclosure. If you're, who do they think they are?
Okay. All right, next page. Now there's a page, research licensing revenue. How do they
Whoa,
get that?
That's a lot.
Well, we're going to get into that a little later in the article.
That sounds like people paying them for the disinformation list.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they brought in over $1 million and they had 500,000 roughly of expenses. So the question is, where did that other money go that depleted
Definitely
the
Queens.
bank accounts? And we're going to find that here in a minute when we go down and find that they have receivables between the two entities that they advance money out of this entity from.
This? Gifts?
No, keep going.
Grants?
Well, you passed the balance sheet. You want the related party transactions?
Yeah, well, it's down at the, it's in a separate schedule.
Okay.
You'll see $2 amounts. Of course, they. Go back up.
Yeah. Slowly. Right here. Down the
down.
page. Slowly. Next page. Here.
There
Due
you
from
go. Right
AN.
here.
Due from Disinformation Index Limited. So they lent $395,000 to what's AN Foundation? If this isn't, I thought this was
What
AN.
we're looking at is the subsequent nonprofit Danny created to AN Foundation.
Oh, this is the name of this thing is Disinformation Index Inc.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is so inbred; it's ridiculous when you look at it. And they use a common website that was built in the UK, which we can go look at.
Which one was that?
Disinformation.org, index.org. We should look that up in Icon.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is the GDI thing that we saw.
There you go.
Let's look this thing up in the Icon. Who is?
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is we'll go into the Wayback Machine here in a minute because they've scrubbed a lot of the data out of here that they use to, black mark, the conservative online media.
Icon lookup.
That's not what it used to be called, but all right.
Okay. Let's see where it goes. Scroll down the page if you can. Created April 11th, 2018, before the bylaws were adopted.
I thought it was April 7th.
That was the filing in the UK was April 7th,
Right.
but the thing in Delaware wasn't until October.
So what does that mean?
This is your standard problem that the Clinton Foundation had, that you don't disclose how you came together. What are your predecessor activities? You can't be an organization unless you have articles and bylaws, right? So it's the same mess, only a smaller scale.
So what do you think?
Look down here.
When you see that, Charles, do you think that this means that...
Wait. Mailing address, ON and CA. Doesn't seem like a mailing address to me. It's ON would be Ontario.
Right.
And CA would be California.
You would think. Pretty strange. Is that the Disinformation Index calling right now?
No,
Well, so, what I was asking is, do you think, Charles, that this indicates that there is somewhere somebody has a playbook as far as here's what you do and people are playing by that book?
Right, exactly. If you want to route money to somebody who, this is a health-related thing. Can't take it. But you set up a fake foundation. You send money towards that entity. Who knows how much money is actually sent towards the entity? And you engage in this kind of chicanery. This is not innocent mistakes here. To have multiple entities with similar sounding names at different
sending money this way, that way.
Yeah, this is not innocent.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
I go so far to say
this is actual charity fraud. This is not disinformation charity fraud. This is actual charity fraud.
Yeah.
What's next, Bob?
Well, I'd go so far to say that maybe Danny and these two U.S. organizations should have been registered under FARA as a foreign agent.
I think that's right.
That's a violation right there. Let's go back to the article, and we're going to go deep. Or better yet, I sent you a link to the Wayback Machine for the Disinformation Index, and we need to open that up, show the viewers how they rate these organizations.
Now, the one from the Wayback Machine, you mean different than the one with Hunter Biden on it?
It's a slip of paper that had the links on it, I think he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not it. There was...
Well, if you go to the article, it's got a link in it already.
Yeah, that's better.
If you just go to the Gateway article, let's scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
And see right there where it says Gateway Target.
Wayback
Click on the Wayback Machine.
That's also a little bit slow sometimes, but it's a very good thing. There we go.
So if we scroll down, we're going to see these weekly reports where there's various topics like LBGT or voter fraud or whatever, where they smack. Keep going. There's a whole bunch of them at the bottom of the page.
How did they? Each one of these reports is gigantic.
Oh yeah.
Who wrote this?
Okay, look at the anti-lockdown right there. Disinformation, November, click that. So this is what they scrubbed out of their website, but this is what they provide to the online exchanges to say, hey, these guys are bad characters. Here's an example that you're advertising for these type of articles that we think is disinformation.
Well, let me zoom in. It says GDI has studied a selection of popular brand ads. Don't be compliant, be defiant. Yeah, I mean, they're basically here telling.
Yeah, but they'll actually show you American Thinker. They'll show you Zero Hedge. But if you look if you look at there, it'll show the site where you see SITE. That's the
American
conservative
Greatness,
site
Big
that
League
they're
Paul.
going after.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's American Thinker.
Huh.
Now, wait a minute. And this is all under the
here's
ambit
Shep.
of this disinformationindex.org that isn't a legitimate charity.
Right. So they're pointing out who's doing what, and they're the ones who are.
Now, here you have two. You have disinformation.org and you have disinformationindex.org. So let's look into icon at disinformation.org and see if that gets us to somebody different. This is outrageous bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a cooking show, but with,
This was created on March 1st, 2001.
wow.
Okay, now let's go down and see if see if they have any other information about it. Name Gandhi.
That's just the registrar. So this is some, this is going to be some website company or something.
In France.
Interesting.
What does the website look like?
Disinformation.org.
Yeah. Huh.
What?
Nothing.
The PHP, this is a programming site. This is Danny did this. PHP, LDAP, admin. This is programming crap. Let's look at something here for a second. PHP is something you use on the web. Let's look at what he's got here. I'll go back in time on this website. Oh, look at this. What was it doing in 2001? So let's see. Under construction. Welcome. This site is currently under construction.
Well, go more recently in the web
You
to
go to
before the
2019.
legal entity was organized.
What do you mean? Where do you want to do that?
So you had, when you first put it in, there were a lot of different things. You selected 2001. Let's go, oh, what happened? Yeah, let's go to, say, 2017, where there's a bunch of stuff, and let's see what pick any one of these, June 13th, 14th, or whatever.
So I've discovered that it's telling you something based on the color of these things, and it seems that when they're not blue, they're less likely to be.
Yeah, just
Let's
one
see.
snapshot.
Yeah, this might not give us anything.
All right.
But wait, it says redirecting. Let's give it a second.
Disinfo.com.
Disinfo.com. What's that?
This is like the Clinton Foundation.
Here you go.
Here we go. Everything you know is wrong. Not about
Psychedelics.
charities, douche.
Lucid dreams, sorcery. I mean, this seems like nonsense.
Wait a minute. Look at this.
John Lennon's first acid trip animated.
Wait, go back up here a little bit, up. On economics. Jesus Quality?
That's not your financial advisor?
No.
Oh.
Home Psychedelics?
Let's see who they are on Twitter. Home Psychedelics. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
This looks like it's kind of dormant, though.
This is based in New York, though.
Wow.
Disinfo.com.
Is this still
How to
on Twitter?
abduct an alien?
Huh.
$43,000 tweets?
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
Here, it's still on Twitter. It hasn't tweeted anything since October of 2018.
Right around the time that this thing became a, quote, charity.
Fang Fang is trending. Unrelated. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I
Well,
think
I
it's
think
bad news for them.
Yeah,
But the
let's
problem
go.
is who's going to prosecute it?
Let's go into open corporates and see if there's a disinformation index. Okay, the foundation, October 6th. So after, and there's in the 7th in April, the 10th of August,
Kentucky?
a different company,
And a German one.
Haftungsbeschränkung.
Now, if you notice there, Kentucky, they did register that disinformation index with Kentucky's charity registry.
Huh.
Get a
Real
discount on
interesting. I
that.
thought, well, that's kind of strange, but it looked valid because they had Joe Jenkins, one of the names of the individuals associated with the organization, in it.
Chris is with us in the comments, says Disinformation Inc. It's not just a name, but a mission statement.
That's right.
That's good.
Amazing.
So this is really something, Bob, it's like, ding, hit the bell. You found another one.
Yeah, you know what's sad is the Washington Examiner did a good job showing a lot of the upper level stuff, but they never got down into the very bowels of the three organizations.
That's what we do. In the bowels.
So if we go back to the Gateway article,
Uh-huh.
and let's scroll down and see if I've got anything else we want to cover. Oh, State Department funding, that was real interesting. That was in the Washington Examiner talking about the National Endowment for Democracy and then the State Department's global engagement.
Yeah.
I mean, here they split it between 2 years, between two entities. And if they would have had 750,000 in 1 year, they would have had to have an official audit as required by the government.
This is outrageous stuff.
So you're saying they divide the money to avoid audits?
And years as well.
Wow. And so that's why they want so many of these different nonprofits, so that they can push money around them and avoid things like audits.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what they really want, Jason and Bob, is to just have an excuse to open a bank account. So with a nonprofit, you go to a friendly bank. Now you can open a bank account. Now you can wire money in and out of that bank account. And if it's a nonprofit, nobody cares as much about what happened to the money. You're giving it away, and you can
they're not looking for anything in return. So they're not like, hey, where's my car or my TV I ordered or whatever? Just take the money and go away.
Right. So you could put $1 million in there and take $1 million out, and there's zero at the end of the year. And the auditor says, well, there's nothing to look at here.
Seems normal.
Right. And then with proof of a bank account at a friendly bank in New York or wherever, you can then go to Zaire or Estonia or some other place.
Bank of Queens.
Whatever. I mean, you have evidence that you do have a corporation, and then you can set up another thing in another country. They may be hopelessly corrupt. And actually, the Margot Cleveland thing that I sent you, Jason, I don't know that Bob has seen that you have it up there.
Oh, the Federalist?
Yeah. Did you see this, Bob?
No, I didn't.
See, I think this is the Global Engagement Group. This is Margot Cleveland, who's very, very good lawyer, and she's got something, I think, maybe, I don't know, yeah, Global Engagement Center.
That's the State Department. That's what that
Here we-
website Bob just had. But this is a big problem. I mean, definitely when we were looking at the Twitter files, Taibbi brought up the GEC. I've been speaking about the GEC with John Cullen for like 6 or 7 years. This goes to all those things like InfraGard and some of these, the public-private partnership. And this GEC thing, it advertises. It's like, hey, do you want a job? Why don't you, come and join the American equivalent of the Stasi, which is exactly what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the disinfo cloud.
That's what we're living in, Charles. It's a cloud of disinformation. See, and I mean, this is interesting because I think probably a lot of our viewers watched the Tucker Carlson interview with Elon Musk, and it's very confusing. I mean, Elon Musk tells us that he bought Twitter because he detected this happening, just his own interaction with Twitter, and that's plausible. I think a lot of people said, hey, why is this getting banned and this not, or whatever. But he's never answered the question of, like, why did Twitter shift so dramatically from this poison pill strategy of you can't buy it to then suddenly forcing him to buy it. He explained with the BBC reporter why he did. He just said the contract, what you said. He said the contract wasn't that good and he was going to have to buy it. So rather than go through a lawsuit and buy it, he just bought it. But he never explained what his opinion is or if he knows why Twitter changed their minds. And that seems important to me.
Well, just speaking as somebody who used to be in that takeover advisory business as a banker, that's a monumental fuck up. I mean, to not notice that your contract obligated you to buy the thing come hell or high water. I mean, that's a major fuck up.
Is that bad?
That's very different than what you generally do when you take over a company. And somebody at whatever law firm he was using
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. and I would be more than a little perturbed if my lawyer had done that to me.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, I mean, the point is, it's just all this disinformation, and Twitter is at the epicenter of it. Bob, did you? I can't recall if I sent it to you. I mean, I'm sure I did. I sent it to almost everybody. But did you get a chance to look at this Twitter coup article that I wrote?
No, I have not.
Oh, no problem. But the thing is, I think this is really important, and I'm just hopeful that it will get some more traction than it's already gotten, because this article goes into depth about how former President Barack Obama and Twitter's first U.S. government liaison, Adam Sharp, along with then FBI General Counsel Valerie Caproni, I allege, on information and belief based on this information here that I've found in the public domain, that these three individuals, they captured Twitter and made it an arm of the U.S. intelligence community, namely by inserting the FBI in there. And it goes into great detail how the Patriot Act was one step toward this happening, how Louis Freeh creating the Office of General Counsel was one step toward this happening. The book, Hatching Twitter, talks about how Jack Dorsey came back to power as the CEO after being ousted and kind of relegated to this vestigial board member role by Evan Williams. And it all surrounded this Twitter town hall at the White House, which coincidentally, it's not denied, was put together by Adam Sharp. And this guy right here is Alexander McGilvery at the time of this photograph in the White House on July 6, 2011. McGilvery was the Twitter general counsel. In 2014, he would leave Twitter. We've recently learned that the Twitter general counsel job, that's a 7-figure job, Charles. You got to be pretty strong enticement to be taken away from that. And by the way, it's pretty easy because you basically can't sue Twitter because of 230. So he leaves as general counsel and becomes the first chief technology officer of the United States of America, working for Barack Obama in the White House. He's now back working for Joe Biden. And Bob, this is the most sinister, incestuous abuse of the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the 14th Amendment It's horrible. And I mean, I think this article reveals more important information as far as getting to the bottom of exactly what's going on than we've even yet gotten to from the Twitter files. So anybody watching right now, I hope you'll go to crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, read that article, become a member, send the article around. It's free to read the article. I think you'll enjoy it as well, Bob. We still have some time to talk about some more details if there are more to discuss.
Let's go back to the article and see if I've got anything else to
Sure.
go over as we scroll to the bottom of it.
Pseudo charities.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that covers it all.
It's a really well-written article, Bob. Fantastic research digging in to this disinformation. I mean, I'm finding my personal opinion now, Charles. So many of the people involved in this disinformation industrial complex are provable liars. And I'm in the process of proving that about a very important one of them.
Well, the thing of it is, disinformation is a bullshit term.
Correct.
It's you have fact and you have fiction, right? We don't need disinformation. We don't need some idiot chemical physicist, who doesn't believe in following.
And wait, the psychedelics. So wait a minute, isn't that the work of a chemist?
I don't know, but we don't need that person or this organization to start attacking advertisers for deciding to place advertisements with American Thinker or whatever. It's just not a useful service. No. And especially if you can't even operate a piddly-ass tiny foundation properly, you don't have the time to write these reports and circulate them. And I don't see a number of, a level for staffing high enough to write these, 6 megabit report and 2 megabit report and all those reports that were on the site. Who actually wrote that? Who paid for that? Probably.
If we go back to UK, that the filing will get a head count. Go back to the.
The problem is it's
because they got a filing they have to do annually, and we get a head count out of it.
In the UK?
Yeah, UK, and we're looking up the corporation.
So Company's House, or what
Company,
is that?
Let's try to start Company's House. 2 words. Yep. Get information about a company. Yeah. Find company information. Start now. Disinformation and start here. Index limited.
Yeah, it's the first one to come up.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Filing history. Or
Yeah,
people you can do.
If we look at the latest year end,
5 officers.
A lot of PDF pages under the filings.
Claire Melford, right? Danny Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Can you be an executive in a British thing why is he in there twice?
Well, these people resigned. So the people are there. Danny Rogers.
You can be American and be a director of a British thing?
Yeah. And then keep going to Danny Rogers. Here it's saying American. Wait. Oh, Dominic, yeah. Danny Rogers, American, relatively young guy. All right. Let's hit Claire Melford and see what other organization she's involved in, if any. 4 appointments. Corkyogis Limited, whatever that is. It's a business. Business consultant, says here. 9 degrees, consultant. Girls Not Brides. Here it says she's a business leader, but she resigned.
But if you go to the filings, I think they had 15 employees, they indicated.
Yeah, if you go
to the filing tab.
Yeah, filing history. Most
Look
recent.
at the latest one. It has a lot of PDF in it. It looks like a year end.
This one?
Yeah, keep going.
Confirmation statement. Exemption for full accounts.
If you go hit the total exemption right there for 2021 July, let's open that up and open up the PDF, 6 pages.
Okay. Balance sheet. It's probably going to have a whopping 2 pounds in it. Let's see. It's
Yeah,
got,
it doesn't have
whoa.
much of anything.
It has negative net assets.
Oh.
Keep. What does it have? Yeah, it has fixed assets, which are intangible, meaning it's goodwill. All right. And it has net current assets of exactly equal. So it has no net assets. It's bullshit. Total bullshit. We'll have to see who the creditors are in note 6.
Well, don't forget the U.S. entity advanced the money.
Right. This is
That tax
rubbish.
return.
6 doesn't say trade creditors, other creditors.
That's got to be their own charity giving them money, no? Other.
Probably.
Well, this is not a real company. If you have a creditor that big, right, and you have your net
It's
asset,
just somebody giving you money.
These are the vetted accounts. Is this even by an auditing firm?
No, they're not required to audit at that level.
So this is not. This is just
It's a piece of
fake
paper
numbers.
they made.
Yeah, this is disinformation.
That's awesome.
Let's go back into the filing history for a second. All right. Now let's see if they did the same thing in 2020. Total exemption, full accounts. View PDF. Same bullshit. So let's look at their size of their accounts.
Oh, now they have money. Positive.
No, that's you're in the footnotes section. You got to go to the. All right, slowly now, Jace. There you go.
Oh,
Wait a
still losing.
How could this have, go up the page a little bit. They have exactly the same intangible and exactly the same net liability.
2 years in a row?
3 years in a
What's
row.
that about?
This is invented numbers.
And they can't even bother to
I would
change
agree as
your...
an accountant.
These are just shit on a wall.
Bob, what do you think of this? Crazy, right?
Not good. They're demanding accountability for disinformation, but they have no accountability.
Right.
Hypocrites.
It's a sham. Total
Yeah.
sham. The entire disinformation movement appears to be a sham.
So let's go back into the index of filings for a second. Let's see what an appointment of Danny Rogers, term and appointment of. Let's see the confirmation statement of April 6th. See what that says. 3 pages.
Nothing. Wow.
Yeah, this is just crap.
It's just nothing here.
Let's go into the index again.
Oh.
Next page.
The index of the disinformation index. Director detail changed. Registered office address changed.
Yeah, I noticed they changed addresses quite frequently.
Yeah, right.
Probably post office boxes.
Okay. Yeah, this is highly suspicious. Highly, highly suspicious. What happens if you hit more? Upper right, yeah.
Company snapshot. Doesn't look like there's much more there.
Okay. Huh.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. I think we've definitely turned over a rock, and there's a lot of critters squirming around under there. Seems quite. So what should we do now, Bob? Keep our eyes on this? Can we report this
Well,
somewhere?
my attitude is or suggestion is that all these different conservative medias get together and put together a legal fund and start suing, pushing
That's
back.
a good idea.
Why take it? And they've damaged you. It's extortion. They're violating RICO
False
statutes.
statements, right.
They're not a foreign agent. They're a foreign agent. You look down the road, look at it, there's so many different problems with it that, I think it'd make a good litigation case. Now, you're not going to make any money out of the deal, but at least you'll be making a statement of don't tread on us.
Well, why not make money if you sue them? I mean, they've got all these I don't know. I feel like Charles could go through that list and find all the Knight Foundation, rich people giving him money to do this. You'd sue the donors.
Well,
What
that's a good
about
point.
punching in Claire Melford in quotes with fraud into Google and see if we are just by chance
On a lark.
in quotes though?
Melford?
Yeah. Okay. What about with Clinton?
But what is the Hospitality Black Book? Henley Media, fraudulent activity in response to. It's because, you know why? Because everything they're writing about is talking about fraudulent activity. I don't know. Does that seem to have got us anything useful?
You have to put Claire Melford in
Quote.
quotes.
And then put a plus for Clinton. There we go. Wow. She's addressing the European Parliament?
Well, I don't know. That's interesting. Let's look at that. Sometimes you get these newsletters where it's a lot of things. Ms.
There you
Claire
go.
Melford. So what is this?
Agenda.
On the agenda, Special Committee for Foreign Interference in All Domestic Processes in the European Union, including disinformation. What's the date of this document? 2021.
2021.
Yeah, what's that?
Middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, Claire is one of these people who goes around telling everybody about disinformation. They announce she's a disinformation expert. Let me guess, she's in her 30s and probably not unattractive. And she goes around, well, maybe I was wrong. And she goes around telling people.
The International Business Leaders Forum.
Oxford University. So
She's in Wikipedia. Let's see.
Fabian socialist. Interesting.
Look at that, World Economic Forum.
Yeah, so exactly.
And she, from previously being part of the Open Society Foundations.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Soros goon right here. Global Disinformation Index. What is this about MTV?
And becoming interested in Buddhism.
This woman is a wreck.
Yeah.
I wonder if you went to the World Economic Forum site and typed in her name, we might find something.
Yeah, let's try that. Good idea, Bob. How about?
What about?
Huh. Well, it's back to this again. It's the only two things it's bringing up for her, and the publication access is currently limited.
What if you just punch in Claire Melford in quotes? How many hits does she get? 57.
It's kind of low, no?
Yes.
Particularly for somebody who's...
How is she highly experienced?
V-Learn. She's involved in a lot of
Bullshit.
weird things. PB Works.
Bankrolling bigotry? Here.
Web conference.
It's not a nonprofit. What is this greater than AB? Frederick Rosencrantz and his brother Guildenstern. What is this?
I don't know. Greater than management?
It's a publicly traded company.
Huh.
In somewhere, and it looks like in Norway.
Uh-huh.
Well, her bio said that she's involved in MTV Norway.
Really?
What do you think of that?
Let's punch her name in with Norway and see what comes back.
not too much. Look at
That's not relevant.
no. Yeah, I don't know.
If you go to Jason, if you go to my article, there's a YouTube. I got her doing a presentation. We could just listen for a minute or so just to get a drift of what this woman's like.
Sure. Where is that link?
Keep going. You'll see the YouTube with her doing a presentation. Up.
Oh,
Right there. See YouTube
Yep.
underneath the picture. Click on that. This will give you an idea what she's like.
Well, I don't want to roll this though because they could YouTube strike it. We'll have to.
But it's worth
this is a
listening
trust
to
conference.
understand what they're doing.
The sound is off.
Yeah, but she's doing like a TED Talk type of thing.
Yeah.
Looks like a very high budget event. She's appearing for the Global Distribution Index wearing something that doesn't look like the thing that you should wear when you're giving a speech to a crowd like that. And it's very unflattering to her flat, narrow body.
One of those needlepoint cushions that she probably repurposed into a dress.
I mean, I don't know what this person is doing, telling us what to do, but I enjoy making fun of people like that.
She reminds me of Tracy Ullman.
I'm not going to say what she reminds me of. Well, Bob, it's been really an excellent overview of some of these disinformation, disingenuous miscreants. And I think you've helped us answer the question of today's thumbnail. Disinformation, it's possible. And certainly Hunter Biden. I mean, the reason why I've used the Biden cabinet in this thumbnail image is because this disinformation industrial complex has really come to full power under Biden, and it really seems to have served him and continues to. And it's really quite interesting. You know, the conversation between Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson has resulted in a lot of people talking about, well, you know, maybe AI is going to control the world. I think people are envisioning Terminator robots and, you know, some sort of post-apocalyptic overlord situation where we're physically controlled. But the fact that we've already got ChatGPT and we've heard that people are using it to write things, news articles and things like that, and it has been trained on information that these people think is information. We don't have any kind of clear framework for how we're discerning information from disinformation. They just decide this is disinformation and it's banned. It's a very dangerous time.
Yeah. Great work, Bob.
Absolutely. Anything you want to say
appreciate
before we
it.
wrap it up, Bob?
Well, I would like to suggest if there's any people from Ireland, we need to give them our sympathy for the Biden family and the Clinton family showing up in Ireland. And, you know, we thought that the snakes were removed from Ireland. It looks like they're back.
Well, did you see that thing of Hillary Clinton, her post with Daffy Duck?
I did see
Yeah,
that.
I saw
Can we
that.
put that up maybe? It's probably on her Twitter feed.
Yeah, I will find that. I just want to make sure people watching know how they can follow Bob. It's a little bit of a long, you got to go to Bob at BobBish402-88847 on Twitter, and you can follow Bob. Don't forget to subscribe to Bob's YouTube channel, Bob Bishop Investigates. We've done a lot of work with Bob, and he's done a lot of great work around San Antonio, Texas, and with George Rodriguez and elsewhere. And he's been doing fantastic research into this charity fraud, the FTX scandal. People who are interested in unraveling financial crime are going to want to follow Bob on Twitter and YouTube. Bob, anywhere else that you want to let people know about that they can follow you?
My LinkedIn is a lot of my articles that I've published on various different blogs like Zero Hedge, American Thinker, those type of things.
This is Danny Rogers.
You could go through my post and get those articles. I kind of aggregated them there.
I'll put that link to the LinkedIn in the description after we're done because
Okay.
I don't have it handy right here. Charles, anything you want to share with everybody?
I want to see the Hillary Clinton tweet with Daffy Duck. I mean, this is. I hope she's 2 Fs.
They'll figure it out. That's what I told my mom when I was in 3rd grade. I don't need to know how to spell.
You got to be kidding me. Right? You got to be kidding me. I mean, this is preposterous. that somebody, a 75-year-old hag, would put this photo up here and think that this is going to redound to her credit.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the 1978 Daffy Duck. It's not working at all.
I mean, the hats. Look at the hats on these two people. Bill and Hillary. The hats.
And so was he governor at this
Yeah.
time? Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad, Charles. This is Hillary Clinton displaying poor judgment.
Yet again.
Absolutely. Maybe even still is possibly the issue. Don't forget to check out charlesortel.substack.com, False Philanthropy. Charles is going to be posting lots of material there. It's free to get on there, or you can choose to become a paid subscriber. There's going to be premium content starting soon.
Soon, very soon.
For paid subscribers, and you're supporting independent journalism. Don't forget you can support this show by going to odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, subscribestar.com, and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Thanks, Bob, for joining us today. Bob Bishop, our wonderful guest. Charles, thank you as always, and thanks to everybody who makes